Well, good afternoon, everyone. We are back for a summer session of Career Talk with OG. We did take a little bit of break. We got to take care of our body and our mind and our soul and our spirits here. But we also were taking a little bit of time to find an amazing person. And today we have Rosy Corado-Biggs, who is with an incredible nonprofit located in San Francisco, JVS. And we're going to be talking today on some job search tips and market trends. Rosy, welcome to Career Talk with OG.
Thanks, Oscar. It's really awesome to be here.
Yes. And by the way, I was looking at your bio, and then also on LinkedIn. And I got to bring this up because you have it on LinkedIn, but a commencement keynote speaker for the class of 2017 at University of California, Santa Cruz.
That's right.
That's awesome. I don't normally I don't start with this, but I'm like, I looked at him like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Okay, you got to tell us a little bit about like what was the topic, and I mean, again, seriously, congratulations. Okay,
thank you. I really appreciate that. It's actually a super special way that I actually got the privilege to do that. So again, went to the University of California, Santa Cruz, go Banana Slugs. And UCSC is actually broken up into 10 different colleges where your dorms are. So our graduation kind of coincides with where your housing was, which is kind of cool. So we had 10 different commencements over the entire school. So you get to know your pods a lot more than you would if it was just, housing across the board. Yeah. So the way that they do it at Oaks, that was my housing. It was called Oaks. So anybody from UC Santa Cruz, the saying, if you're from Oaks, you go Oaks, and then you respond back Oaks. And so they actually nominate 2 people every year to do the speech. So it's really people who have done some community organization within the housing of Oaks. People who stand out. I did a lot of our talent shows and a lot of our community stuff. So I really enjoyed hanging out with my peers in my housing district. So they nominated me and a fellow graduate. And I talked about my grandmother's journey from El Salvador to come over here to give my family a better life. I'm first generation college student in my family. And I hold my grandmother super near and dear to my heart. She's amazing. And so I just wanted to give her a little shout out and talk about that and why my journey was so special to Santa Cruz.
Yeah, well, again, thank you for sharing that, and congratulations, because that is a big deal. That is a big deal to be a commencement speaker. And we could do a whole different talk on being first-gen student and professional, because I myself, I'm a first-gen professional student myself. I also went to a UC school, went to Berkeley. But I will tell you this, actually, Rosy, my summer year, I think going into my junior year in high school, I was part of this like Upward Bound program. Yeah. And they took a group of us, minority students, to UC Santa Cruz to spend a week living on campus, going to schools to get a feel for what it's like to be on campus. And so UC Santa Cruz is the very first college campus that I set foot and was there for a week. So
that's amazing. Hey, that is such a cool program. I had a lot of my friends actually do that over the summer. So they told me all about that. I had friends who did that same program who were in my class as well. And they said they found that it was super helpful to their transition into college, because, it's their first time, and you're the first person in their family to do it. And then it's a scary thing to take that on if you're the first person, if you have no folks in your family that have experienced that. So awesome.
Yeah, definitely. But good. But like I said, we could go on and have a different conversation. And let's get back to JVS here, market trends, before Leo and Sessa, start sending me some nasty emails about getting back on topic.
All right, let's get back on topic.
So, Rosy, again, I I know what you do, and and on your LinkedIn profile, but for the sake of, because this also, we do turn this into a podcast, for the sake of our listeners, and those that don't know your background or not looking at your LinkedIn profile, tell us first off, what is your role at JVS?
Yeah. So I am the business development manager. What that means, it's a little different than what other BDMs are in the tech world. But my role is really to find and engage employers to get connected to our talent pool at JVS. So JVS is a skills training program where we upskill people in healthcare, tech, and utilities. We've been around since 1973, which is crazy. We just celebrated our 50th anniversary. We've helped over 100,000 people skill up and connect with local employers in the Bay Area. Yeah, we're connected. I think last year alone, we connected to about 530 employers alone just through
Oh my
JVS, which is
gosh.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I early in my entrepreneurial journey, business, which back in, what was it? I think it was back around 2017, maybe
Mhm.
18. I don't remember exactly how I got connected through JVS. I think it was at the time when I was doing a 1 year contract gig with LinkedIn, and I got connected to JVS. But anyways, um, I became a little familiar about the work that JVS does. I even did some workshops, but I didn't know some of this stats that you shared with me, about 50. It's been around for 50 years, and the number of people that it impacts. I just know it's an amazing organization, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, many of the programs are either at no cost or very subsidized. Is that
Yeah,
correct? Like the training, the career training?
you are absolutely right. Everything is 100% free for the participants. Um, wild, right?
Yes.
When we tell people that, they're like, that doesn't exist. That can't be right. You're joking. What's the catch, right?
Yes.
No catch. We really are dedicated to creating economic mobility for the residents of the Bay Area. So we partner with other mission-aligned employers to really elevate the work that we do here. So, huge partners that we work with, UCSF, we have a lot of cool partnerships with them. We have an IT program, our medical administrative assistant, and then, of course, our admin assistants. So UCSF, we've been working with them for a really long time.
Yeah.
But they're one of the largest employers in San Francisco. So we're like, yeah, we really got to
Yes.
work with them to see how we can expand partnerships there. And they've been really dedicated to our mission. And we're really thankful for the work that we do with them. That's just one
Absolutely.
example of a really cool employer we work with.
Yeah. And Angelica, by the way, everyone, I mean, I think many of you know Angelica's my daughter. She's behind the scenes here. She's the Wizard of Oz. Okay. So, Angelica, if you can drop in the chat the link to JVS so people can have it and access it, that'd be awesome. But everyone, seriously, check out their website, because yes, it's free, but they work their what's off to partner with other companies and grants and so forth to be able to provide this. But the training is high
Yeah.
caliber training.
Yeah.
So take advantage of this. There we go. We got the link there. Thank you. Thank you. On
Thank
the
you.
across the screen there and on the chat. But so okay, Rosie. I I do career and leadership training, so I have my pulse in the industry and so forth. But I got to tell you, even myself, I sometimes get confused as to, like, is the economy going down? Are we going towards a recession? Or are we not? What's going on? And I think a lot of people out there, job seekers, are kind of feeling the same way. Obviously, if you got laid off, we know how you're feeling. Okay, but just generally speaking, share with us some market trends in terms of, job outlook. What's it looking? Is it kind of staying sort of flat? Is it going up, down, or it depends on the industry?
Yeah, it's definitely dependent on the industry, but I can tell you overall there has been a 30% increase in job postings overall. So again,
30% increase?
yes, 30% increase since December of last year.
Wow.
So again, we're Bay Area focused, so that's obviously within the Bay Area.
Yes.
So it is definitely, we're seeing less increase within the tech sphere because there is a lot of layoffs happening, some restructuring happening. We all, see the articles, see all of these companies. But overall, there has been a 30% increase in job postings online. What I will say is that if you're interested in a more tech-enabled role, you want to get into the tech sphere, and it is difficult right now. A lot of people are applying for the same roles.
Yeah.
But what I would say is I challenge people into kind of thinking about, what does tech-enabled mean to you? Does that mean you have to be at a tech company? No. Every single industry has tech-focused roles, right? So some of those industries that JVS is partnering with, and we're trying to diversify our portfolio over here. We're working with the entertainment industry, so sports, ticketing. We're working with hotels. Hotels need IT to run as well, right?
That's true. You're right. You're right.
What else are we working with? The healthcare field. I talked about UCSF already. They're one of the largest employers in San Francisco. How many different hospitals are there in the Bay Area? There's a lot. So
Yes.
there, you can really, move into a tech-enabled role, and it doesn't have to be within the tech sphere. So that would be some advice and some trends that I'm seeing right now.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. That is, thank you for sharing that, because again, I used to work in the tech industry, and obviously the Bay Area is known for tech, Silicon Valley and so forth. And but the tech industry has been taking a hit, especially of late. But I find it pleasantly surprising about that 30% increase in online postings here since December in the Bay Area, and that's actually good. You know, let's talk about, Rosy, about, first off, what are some common mistakes that job seekers make? And I don't know, maybe pick 3 or something like that, or I don't know, if
Sure.
you have a list of 20, go ahead, talk about all 20 of them. But 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 talk about what are some common mistakes that you see, and then what are some things that people can do to address those mistakes?
Sure. So I would say the first thing that always comes to mind, and things that I always hear from my recruiting partners, is send a thank you letter. People are not sending thank you letters after they have their first initial interview. So I would say send a thank you letter after every interview you have, after every person you talk to. Remember to say something that stood out to you when you had that conversation with that interviewer.
Yes.
And then, of course, researching that person before you meet them, before you go into the interview, to see if there's something that you have in common, right?
Yes.
So researching before and after, finding out if there's other people within the industry, within that company, that you can connect to boost your application. But again, let's go back to the first one. Send that thank you letter, please, always. Recruiters really remember and appreciate who does that.
Yes.
The second thing is organization of your job search. You're applying to hopefully 10 jobs a day. I know it's a lot of work to apply, and you should be tailoring your resume and tailoring your application for every single job post. But organizing your job search. So what tools are you using? It could be a spreadsheet. Excel's great. Google Sheets is great. Whatever works for you. But there's also some online tools like Hunter. It's spelled HUNTR. It's a Google extension, and it organizes your job postings for you, and you can track that there. I'm a fan of Sheets. I like to do it myself. But if you're a tech whiz, I definitely encourage you to check out Hunter. Again, that's HUNTR. And then third, remembering that there is a difference between an elevator pitch and tell me about yourself. So,
Yeah, oh yes,
right?
yes.
So you're in an interview, right? And they say, okay, tell me about yourself. That's not your 30-second elevator pitch to try to get somebody's attention. That's your,
Yes.
let me tell you about my skills. What was I doing before? Where am I at now? And why am I applying to this job? And the
Yes.
difference between the elevator pitch, you are meeting somebody at the grocery store and you strike up a conversation and they say, oh, what do you do? And you say, actually, I'm in the job search right now. This is what I'm doing. This is where I really want to go. And you don't want to, talk their ear off for 5 minutes.
Right. Right.
So remember the difference between an elevator pitch and the tell me about yourself. You want to be highlighting different things in those approaches.
Yes. I love these 3 tips here, and I want to go back to each of them. The first one, everyone, yes, it is very competitive out there, and at the same time, the ease of which one can apply for multiple jobs, it's a double-edged sword because yes, you can pretty much just click and submit your LinkedIn profile or whatever, your resume. But it's what Rosy just talked about is just these small little, oftentimes, unfortunately, sadly, forgotten gestures of gratitude that sets you apart from the masses out there. Don't take that for granted. As Rosie said, sending that thank you message to that recruiter, because you never know. I mean, hopefully you do get the job, but if you don't, you begin to develop that relationship with that recruiter, and down the road, they're going to think of you. Okay, you're going to remember as a nice person. Like you said too, Rosie, being organized. I mean, we just got back from a trip, and I'd laugh because sometimes I see that GIF, that Mickey Mouse GIF, where he's like packing a bunch of stuff from the drawer, throwing it into the suitcase, right? It's just like it's shoving everything in. That's not ideally the best way to go about, right? Be organized. So that way you can keep track as to when to follow up and what the progress is, and et cetera, and conversations, and where things are at moving along. And then also I love the tool Hunter, Huntr Hunter. I hadn't heard about Hunter, but that is an excellent tool there to help out. Rosie, in terms of let's kind of segment a little bit these tips for some different groups out there. Let's talk about the person sort of that's kind of been in the workforce for maybe 10, 15 years. So maybe I don't know, maybe they're in their late 30s to 40 plus, right? So they could be middle management, or above. And either they got laid off or they're transitioning careers, kind of the seasoned professional. What tips do you have for someone that's a seasoned professional?
Well, first of all, if you are a seasoned professional with 5, 10 years of experience, you already have so much that you're bringing to the table. People often think, oh my God, I've been in an industry for so long. I'm scared to move into something else. I'm not sure what's out there. Now, you, have a great advantage because you have loyalty, right? They see that you've worked at a company for a long time. People move from job to job very often now. I think it's 2.5 years is the average somebody stays in a career or in a job right now. So if you've been anywhere 5 years plus, you got already a great green check mark next to your name.
Yes.
And just a plug for JVS, we have a job search accelerator that specifically works with people in that bucket. So that's called the Job Search Accelerator. Look us up, jvs.org. We can help you with your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn, all that good stuff. And that's what we specialize in. But to go back to your question, every piece of experience that you have is relevant. A tip that I would do at JVS, we have this thing called a career narrative. So that is an exercise where you write out, lock yourself in a room for 2 hours or an hour, however
Yeah.
long you can stay, and just write every single thing you've ever done in a role, every single thing you've ever done in your past role or any roles. And even if you think it doesn't matter, write it down. And just, it's a great writing exercise because it really makes you remember all the things that you forgot over the last 15 years that you've been at that
Yeah.
company. And then when you're applying to a new role, they're looking for specific things that you may not have thought about that you had experience in, and connect those, and you get to tailor your resume that way.
Yeah.
So again, you're coming in with a great advantage with that amount of experience. So one, create a career narrative. Two, connect with every single person that you worked with at that company on LinkedIn. Send them a message and say, hey, it was really great working with you. I'd love to keep in touch. Well, whatever you want to say, a special little anecdote about your relationship. And then you're expanding your network, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those would be my two tips for anybody who's really transitioning into a new field. Everything is important in your job search, and tailoring your resume with that experience.
Yes. And I do want to come back to the JSA program or the Accelerator program. But basically, what I'm hearing you say, Rosy, is that we need to take ownership of our career journey, and it's there's some things that we just need to constantly be doing, even if we are employed. In other words, it just doesn't stop. It's like, I mean, the reality is, it's like being healthy or eating healthy isn't just something you do because you want to get ready for some event or whatever. No, it's honestly, it should be an ongoing lifestyle, right? Type of thing. And same thing with our career searches. It's not just doing these things because you want to get a job, but there are some things that we must continue to do, like networking, right? Building our brand, and just like you said, just staying on top of learning in the industry and so forth. So absolutely. And by the way, Lazaro, thank you for the copy. Yeah, this is my new house. So backyard house. Lazaro, it's a good friend of mine. He's actually down in Southern California. Works for Space Defense, Northrop Grumman, I think it is. So anyway, so okay, Rosie. Another question. Now let's take it to the other end of the spectrum, those that are early in their career, maybe a recent college grad or someone that has up to 5 years of work experience. What are some recommendations, career advice that you have for someone that's early in their career?
Yeah, somebody that's earlier in their career, networking. That is the biggest thing for anybody who's really earlier in their career. So think about if you recently graduated from high school, or recently graduated from college or trade school, whatever. Make sure you're connecting to every single person you remember having a conversation with, because you never know how that person could be pivotal in your job search. So when I graduated from UC Santa Cruz, I messaged, I don't know, 100 people the week after I graduated.
Good for you.
And to this day, I've been able to ask for favors in my current role because of that. People have volunteered to be mentors within my program or other programs that I'm connected to. So people want to help you.
Yes.
And what's actually really interesting is when you're trying to ask for support, people are way more willing to do you a favor than you might think. People are really scared to just ask for that. And people often put on their LinkedIn, hey, if anybody's interested in a referral at my company, reach out to me. And I'll look at those posts and they won't get any likes. It's like 2 or 3 likes. And I'm like, what? This is a gold mine right here.
Exactly.
There's 50 open roles at this place. And I know that, there's a lot more people within that person's network that are looking for work right now. So even if you don't want a job at that specific company and somebody is offering that service, take it. Take the conversation. Take them out to coffee. Create a relationship with somebody, because you don't know how that could help you in this role or in the next few roles that you might have. Again, I graduated from Santa Cruz 10 years ago, and I still reach out to people once in a while that in my graduating class, just say, hey, how was that new promotion? Congratulations on your baby. I saw that you just got married. That's amazing. So stay engaged. And of course, you can always offer your services too. They will remember if you did them a favor as well. So they say, hey, we need mentors for this internship program. And you say, hey, I just graduated from college. I don't have a lot of work experience yet, but I'd love to be an intern, mentor some way, somehow. And that will really take you a long way.
Yeah. Everyone, did you catch that Rosy said that literally the week after she graduated from college, she reached out to about 100 people? Okay. Now, many of you, I know you're probably thinking, it's like, oh my gosh, 100 people, that's a lot of people. Listen, okay, if you have time lately to Barbiefy your profile picture, can you at least take 5 seconds to say hello to someone? Okay. So, right, like, don't be giving me this excuse here that you don't have time when you're over there Barbiefying your profile picture. Okay. Right. So, yeah, those are great. And what I love about also your tips, Rosy, is that they're doable and anyone can do them. Like, if you were to tell me, like, Oscar, you need to learn how to program and, learn how to do AI prompts and all that, I'm like, sorry, Rosy, but that's not me. Okay. I'm not techie. Okay. But everything that you just said right now, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, let's talk about the accelerator program, because it's a really, really amazing program. So I know you mentioned a little bit about it in the beginning, but just go as deep as you want to, okay, to tell us about this program, because seriously, it's an incredible program.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Job Search Accelerator program. It is a 2-week boot camp to help you revamp your job search. So a couple of things that we cover: resume 101, interviewing, the career narrative that I talked about, creating a star story. If you don't know what a star story is, please look. That's the one thing I want you to take away from today. If you don't take away anything else, remember what a star story is. Look it up. It means situation, task, action, and result. That's a way for you when you're interviewing to tell your stories on how you can best answer a question in the interview. Working on your elevator pitch. Tell me about yourself. Remember those two different. Those are different. We also cover job search action plans. So really creating a plan for yourself. Oscar, you were talking about, it's really daunting to do a job search, right? You're like, where do I start? How do I even approach this? Creating that action plan for yourself. And if anybody says that, getting a job is not that hard, I don't know who's ever said that. They're lying. But getting a job and applying and doing your job search is a full-time job in itself. Yeah. So you need to be budgeting your time to really approach this in the best way of your abilities, because we're telling our clients you should be working on your job search between 25 and 35 hours a week. That doesn't mean applying to jobs all day, every day, but that means, who are you reaching out to? Who are you connecting with? Are you going to any events, networking events? Are you working on your resume, tweaking it, asking somebody to look it over for you? Yeah. There's a lot that goes into a job search.
Practicing interviewing.
Exactly. Right? So we teach that whole thing within our 2-week boot camp. And again, we specialize in people who've been in an industry for a really long time. They're like, what? I haven't touched a resume in 15 years. I don't know what I'm doing. Or I haven't interviewed in 15 years. I have no idea what I'm doing. And so we really help people in those experiences, and fresh out of a boot camp, fresh out of college, wherever you are in your experience in your job search, we're here to help you if you're ready to get your job search accelerated.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, is this program, can people, is it in person, online, hybrid?
It is 100% virtual. So we teach our classes online. All that you need is access to a computer. I know that can be a barrier sometimes for folks. The public library, you can, I know in San Francisco, you can actually rent computers from the public library if you need that support. And JVS, if other things are coming up for barriers for you, we can help you figure it out. We really want to help you with your job search. And I will say, if I didn't make this clear, there is no requirement for any sort of degree. The only requirements are that you need to have graduated, have a diploma, a GED, and you live in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Got it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. This is again an incredible program, free resource, and everyone. I mean, we all need the practice, right? And you know what? The other thing too, that it's not just the skills that we learn, but it's also the support that comes with being part of a group. And we sometimes don't talk about that because to your point, as you were saying, Rosie earlier, is that it's daunting and it can be exhausting and emotionally exhausting to be applying and getting rejected. And so when we are a part of a group with other folks that are going through similar experiences, it's also serves as a support group.
100%. Right? Yeah. Thank you so much for calling that out. We really dig into the cohort model. We encourage our participants to make friends with people in your cohort. They're going through the exact same thing that you are. Going through your job search can feel really alienating. You feel like you're alone. You feel like you're the only person going through this. But you and so many other people are experiencing that right now. And it might be a little uncomfortable to talk about your experience. But once you open that door, you see how many other people are experiencing the same things that you are, and you can create a support system. And through JVS, we kind of create that for you. We put people together who are experiencing the same thing you are, and that you get to lean on each other in this journey.
Yeah. Awesome. Rosie, before we close it out, any last minute tips, comments that you want to share with our audience, or maybe even something about just your own career journey or anything that any last parting words?
Sure. I used to work for a really big tech company and I was really excited and I thought I made it and I was like, yeah, this is it. So it was my second job and they laid off half of the company. It was 8,000 people. They laid off 4,000 people.
Wow.
I was one of those 4,000 people. And I was really, upset. I was like,
of course,
why me? This is such, what did I do wrong? And I really had to look at myself and be like, this is not me. I know how great of a job I did in my work. I have a lot of integrity in what I do. It didn't have to do with me. And you can't make it personal in those situations. Of course, it's a terrible, horrible feeling. And feel all the feelings because you need to, really, after that experience. And then find your support system.
Mm-hmm.
In that, again, 4,000 people got let go that day. So I was able to reconnect with a lot of people that were going through the same thing as I was. And we would check in with each other and say, hey, where are you applying now? Do you have a connection at this place? And we created our own little network. And I found JVS 4 years ago through a connection. Somebody saw that I was looking for a job and they said, hey, you would actually be really good for this position. Knowing my work ethic, my connections to the communities, to the San Francisco community, I took a chance. I'm like, well, this isn't really exactly aligned with what I was looking for, but let me check it out.
Yeah.
I took the interview, put my best foot forward. After the first interview, I was like, whoa, this is exactly what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
And just by saying yes, I am now in a wonderful position. I love my job. I'm really excited by the work that I do. And I'm still here 4 years later, helping other people figure out what their next move in their career is. So it's a very rewarding job. And I'm happy to connect with anybody. If you have questions, let me know. I'm happy to
Yes.
guide you in any way that I can, or figure out how JVS can be a great support system for you.
Rosie, those this last part here is beautiful. Well said. And Angelica here has your LinkedIn URL, so people please do connect with Rosie here. And Rosie, at the beginning, you said that your title at JVS is BDM, Business Development Manager. But I got to tell you, I really think that what BDM stands for is Big Deal Mujer. Because you're amazing. All right. And now I see why Cessa and Leo, they're like, Rosie. I'm like, because I was like, how come Cessa and Leo don't come on it? And I'm like, Rosie. Now I know, because you're a big deal mujer. So,
Oh, thank you so much, Oscar. It's honestly been a privilege talking to you, and I see that we have crossed paths a bunch of times. So I'm glad that we finally get to meet and do this
yes.
wonderful podcast together. And hopefully, I can come back and tell you more about first gen stuff. I'd love to come back and tell you a little bit more about that.
Stay tuned on that, amiga. But Rosie, thank you. Thank you for being on Career Talk with OG. Thank you for sharing some market trends, job search tips, information about the incredible JVS Accelerator program. So everyone, again, please visit JVS. Take advantage of their free, high caliber services that they have. And thank you for joining us again on this episode of Career Talk with OG. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.